Hi all, today we are going to discuss about different curves that are used to calculate the economics of power generation. So first I am starting with the load curve. So the load on the power station we know continuously varies from time to time. So that's why the curve showing the load demand on the station versus the time is known as the load curve. So let us take for example I am taking for a particular day, that means this is called as the daily load curve. So in one day I am representing in the x-axis the time in hours. So this is nothing but the time in hours. This is taken on the x-axis. So you can see I am starting from the midnight and reaching again up to midnight. So I am taking every hour, I am noting down the data. So at each instant or a particular hour, either I can take the every half an hour I can take the reading, or hourly I will take the reading. I will note down what is the load at that particular time on the power plant. So that gives the load curve. If you see the load curve, you can see the load curve is continuously fluctuating, it is not constant, and at a particular instant of a day some maximum demand or the maximum load is obtained on the power plant, which is called as the maximum demand. So this variation is called as the daily load curve. So similarly we can calculate the monthly load curve also as well as the yearly load curve also. So before going to this, let us try to make some observations based on the daily load curve. So this area under the load curve gives the number of units generated in a day. That means number of units generated in a day will be equal to area under this load curve. So whatever this curve is there, this area under this load curve, that gives the total number of units generated, because x-axis is time and y-axis is in megawatt. So product of these two, because area will be x multiplied by y, so it will be megawatt hour. So it gives the number of units generated in a particular day. So on the highest point in this load curve, that represents the maximum demand on the station. Accordingly we can decide what should be the installed capacity of my station, because your station should be able to supply the maximum demand. Then this area under the load curve divided by the total duration. Area under the load curve, that is in megawatt hour, which indicates the number of units generated in a particular day, divided by duration of the particular day. That gives the average load. We have discussed what is average load in previous class. It is the average of the total load. That means it is nothing but total number of units that are supplied divided by total duration. So here it is daily load curve, so 24 hours we have taken. Similarly, I can tell the load factor. Load factor is a ratio of average load divided by maximum demand. This also we have discussed in the previous class. So this is nothing but the average load and the maximum demand I am multiplying with 24 on both numerator and denominator. So average load multiplied by 24 hour will gives the area under this load curve. Agree with me? So the same thing I have represented, area under the daily load curve divided by this maximum demand multiplied by the total duration. So you can see here maximum demand is here. With the same value I am multiplying the total duration, or it is nothing but it represents the area of the rectangle. This represents the area of the rectangle which is enclosing this maximum demand. That means that touching this maximum demand, I will draw a rectangle for this entire duration covering. So that area under this rectangle gives the maximum demand multiplied by 24 hours. That means we can calculate the load factor by using area under the daily load curve by total area of rectangle in which the load curve is contained. I hope it is clear up to now. So now the load curve helps in preparing the operating schedule of the station. So you can see here the continuously the load is varying throughout the day. So let us assume if you are having a single generator in the power station, because we always design the alternator to operate at maximum efficiency near to the full load. So if you are operating at the light load or less than full load conditions, then the efficiency will fall down. And the second one, always we have to maintain some extra spare unit so that in emergency the power will not, or the continuity of power will not be hampered. So let us take for example, if I am selecting a single unit corresponding to maximum demand, so I have to keep one spare also, so cost increases drastically. So and second one, the efficiency is also less because it is continuously varying. So practically what we will do, we will divide, instead of taking a single unit, we will select the multiple small unit in order to fit the load curve, such that the each alternator will operate near the maximum efficiency condition. That means it will operate very near to the maximum load, and The another advantage is the extra spare unit that is required will be the capacity of the maximum generator unit. So that's why automatically the cost decreases. But disadvantage is that the number of units are increasing, automatically the initial investment increases. As more generators are there, more space is required, more maintenance will be required. So these concepts will be discussed in the next class in detail. So that means we can conclude that the different generators will connect in parallel. So depending on what is the load on my station, that is the basic thing that is required. So this will help in deciding where which particular generator unit will be connected in parallel. So for that scheduling this will be useful. Then coming to the next one, it also helps in selecting the size and number of the generating units. This also will be discussed in detail in the next class. I will take one example and explain there in detail. Today we are going to discuss only about different curves. So similarly, I can plot the monthly load curve can be obtained from the daily load curve of that particular month. So for that what we will do, for each day there will be a load curve. So like that, let us take for example 30 days are there. So 30 load curves are there, where the x-axis represents the time of the particular time of a day and the y-axis represents the load at particular time. So what we will do, we will take the average value of the load at a particular time of the day. Let us assume there are 30 days, let us assume at 6 o'clock. So every day at 6 o'clock, whatever is the load, make the sum of all the loads divided by 30. That gives the average load for that particular time of the day. So that represents the monthly load curve. So similarly, if you want to calculate the yearly load curve also same thing. On a particular day, whatever is the load for throughout the year, take the average value. That means always the x-axis will be for 24 hours only. So we will take the average value for a particular instant or a particular instant of the day. We will take the average value of the load for all the days of the year. So that is called as yearly load curve. So where these load curves are used, this monthly load curves are used to fix the rates of the energy, and generally year load curves are generally used to determine the annual load factor. So then comes another type of curve that is called as load duration curve. Another curve is load duration curve. So the load duration curve gives an idea of load on a station at any instant of time. So the load duration curve, because the load curve we have already discussed, the load curve gives the idea of the load on the station at any instant of the time. So what is the difference between load curve and load duration curve? The load duration curve represents the number of hours per day. If it is a daily load duration curve, it can be monthly load duration curve, that will be per month. If it is yearly load duration curve, it will be per year, for which a load is greater than or less than any given amount. So this I am going to explain in detail. Let us complete the basic theory. So this helps in financial analysis of the station and deciding the number and size of the generating units. So the number and size of the generating units can be better predicted in a better way when compared to the load curve using the load duration curve. That means load duration curve gives us more idea and the broad scope to decide the size and number of the generating units, whereas the scheduling of the generating units, for that only load curve is required. So it also helps in selecting the base load and the peak load plants. So which plant I have to use as the base load, or what will be the capacity of the base load plant, and what will be the capacity of the peak load plants, different peak load plants, that also can be obtained by using this one. For this, the load elements of the load curve, whatever the load curve are there, they are arranged in the descending order of the magnitudes, and it gives the relationship between percentage of time. Either you can represent percentage of the time means 0 to 100%, or number of hours over a day. Number of hours over a day will be 24, or it can be month, that is 30 or 31, or even it can be year, that means 8760 hours, for which particular load or load more than a particular load exists on the system. So theory will be confusing. So let us take one example so that this will be clear to you. Generally it will be plot like this: the load in megawatt versus percentage of the time, or otherwise load in megawatt versus duration in hours. How much is the duration? So for that I am taking one small example. So let us take for example, this is my load curve. So here the load curve, you can observe that 10 megawatt is there from 6 am to 8 am. After that 25 megawatt is there from 8 am to 1 pm. So 8 am to 1 pm, and 5 megawatt is there from 1 pm to 2 pm, and 30 megawatt is there from 2 pm to 6 pm, and then 3 megawatt for 6 pm to 6 am. This is continuously varying. So now what we will do, we will arrange these loads in the descending order versus the duration. So you can see here, first we will select what is the maximum load. Maximum load or maximum demand is 30 megawatt. So we will take the 30 megawatt. For how much duration it is there? It is there from 2 pm to 6 pm. That means it is for a duration of 4 hours. So it is plotted for 4 hours it is lying. So after that there is next highest is a 25. So 25 megawatt, how much time it is there? It is from 8 am to 1 pm. It is from 8 am to 1 pm. So that means it is for a duration of 5 hours, because 9, 10, 11, 12 and 1. So 5 hour duration it is there. So 4 plus 5, that means up to 9 hours. This is lying, this 25 megawatt is lying. So here x-axis will be going on increasing in the duration. So now again after that 10 megawatt is there. 10 megawatt is for how much duration? 6 am to 8 am, that is for 2 hours. So 9 plus 2 means up to 11 hours. So this 10 megawatt is there. Then after 10 it comes 5 megawatt is lying from 1 pm to 2 pm, that is for 1 hour. So 5 megawatt is there for 1 hour, and after that 3 megawatt is there for 12 hours. So same thing I have plotted. So when you keep it in the descending order, so you can observe that this for the total 24 hours which load is existing, that is generally we call as the base load or the load that is continuously existing. How much load is continuously existing? 3 megawatt is existing for 24 hours. That means if I select my base station or any power station, so of 3 megawatt it can supply the power for 24 hours. So let us assume I select my base plant as 5 megawatt. So if you are selecting the base plant as 5 megawatt, so that plant will operate at 100% load for 12 hours and nearly 60% of the load for remaining 12 hours. So accordingly we can decide. That means we can select the base plant having 2 units. So one unit is having 3 megawatt, another unit another 3 megawatt. So accordingly they can supply the entire load. Similarly you can see here the 10 megawatt. So 10 megawatt load is having for how much duration? 11 hour duration. That means the extra load is there 10 megawatt for 11 hour. Similarly another of 25 megawatt is there for 9 hours duration. 30 megawatt is there for only 4 hour duration. So you can see here particularly this 30 megawatt is only for 4 hours. That means if you design any power plant, so that we can supply 30 megawatt only for 4 hours. That means it will operate for 4 hours only. So generally we know that different types of power plants are there, like hydro power plant are there, thermal power plant, nuclear power plant, gas power plant, diesel power plant. So whichever power plant is very old, because as the power plant become old, the maintenance cost goes on increasing because frequent maintenance will be required. And the second one, some type of power plant the running cost is more, such as diesel power plant. So those type of power plants which are not economical, they can be used for supplying this load, because that power plant will operate only for 4 hours and supply this much. As it is supplying for only less time, so automatically the unit cost will be less only. And whichever power plant is having the less operating cost or the less cost per unit, that we will select as the base plant. Like for example 3 megawatt is running 24 hours, 5 megawatt is running for 12 hours, 10 megawatt is running for 11 hours. So accordingly we will divide among the stations. So this also we are going to discuss base load and peak load plants in the coming lectures in detail. So again this is also similar to that of the load curve. This area under the load duration curve again gives the same as the area under the load curve. So both gives total number of units generated in that particular duration. So now coming to integrated load duration curve. So this curve represents the total number of units generated for a given demand in kilowatt or megawatt. Here the x-axis represents the demand in kilowatt or megawatt and y-axis in kilowatt hour or megawatt hour. So it is plotted from the load duration curve. So to understand this concept completely, I am taking a load duration curve. This is my load duration curve. So in this load duration curve, first take the base load, that means which is there for total duration. So in order to avoid the confusion, I am representing this 3, 5, 10, D, all these things by A, B, C, D, E. So I have represented A, B, C, D, E and how the energy is going on integrating. So for that what I will do, first I will take 3. So this 3 I will multiply by 24. So this is 3 into 24, that gives the value of 72. So up to 72. So this particular 3 megawatt if you are running, it is producing an energy of 72 megawatt hour. So this is in megawatt hour. So for duration of 4. So now to calculate this one, how to calculate this one? So this one can be obtained by 72 plus, what is the difference between these two? Difference between these 3. That means we have to take the area of this second part, second rectangle. This second rectangle is width will be equal to 5 minus 3. So 5 minus 3 means it will be 2. And for how much duration it is lying? It is lying for 12 hour duration. It is lying for 12 hour duration. That means this will be equal to 72 plus 2 times of 12. So this will be equal to 96. So how this is obtained? This is obtained like this. So once this is done, then come to the next rectangle. Next rectangle, the difference between these two, difference between 10 and 5. So this one, so this I am keeping here. So this will be equal to 96 plus the 10 minus 5. This is for how much duration? 10 minus 5. This rectangle is for a duration of 11 hours. That means you have to take 96 plus, this will be 96 plus 10 minus 5 is 5 times of 11 hours. So this will be equal to 151. So 151 is obtained. So now coming to this one. So this will be equal to, what is this total value up to here? This is 151 plus, so after 10 what is there? It is a 25. So 25 minus 10, what is 25 minus 10? That is 15. And for how much duration this rectangle is there? This rectangle area we have to calculate. It is for a duration of 9 hours. That means this is 151 plus 15 multiplied by 9. So this is coming as 286. So similarly coming to this one, so this one will be, so this one will be 286 plus, how much is the difference? 25 minus 30, that is equal to 5. And for how much duration it is there? It is for a duration of 4 hours. That means this is 20, 286 plus 20, that is equal to 306. 306. It is nothing but the cumulative. You should go on adding. I am just summarizing or explaining this once again so that the confusion will go. So first one, this entire load duration curve we can divide into rectangles. So this is one rectangle. So this rectangle, area of this rectangle or the base rectangle is, this is 3 multiplied by 24. You get it as 72. So for this 72, now you have to add the area of this second rectangle. Second rectangle means this difference is 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. 2 multiplied by how much duration? 12 hours. So that you have to add to this one. So that's why it is called as integrated. We have to do the integration. So 2 multiplied by 12 plus 72 is 96. Then what we will do? Difference between these two, 10 minus 5. So this multiplied by this duration, that will be equal to 15 multiplied by, sorry, this is 10 minus 5, that is 5 multiplied by 11. So that gives 151. So similarly after this comes 25. So 25 minus 10 is 15. It is lying for how much duration? 9 hour duration. So 9 hour duration plus adding to 151, that gives 286. Similarly last one will be the previous one, that means up to here 286 plus area of this rectangle. You have to take the area of each of these rectangles. So this is called as integrated load duration curve. So then coming to the last curve, that is called as the mass curve. So mass curve, it represents the total number of units consumed up to the particular time of the day. Up to the particular time of the day. So it is obtained from the load curve. So what we will do, the time we will start from 6 a.m. Whatever is the load curve, that x-axis will remain same here. That means load curve, it is from 6 a.m. onwards up to 6 a.m. again. For 24 hours this will be x-axis, and we will start from 6 a.m. going on adding the energy consumed up to that particular instant. That means this is nothing but the integration of the load curve. Integration of the load curve. That means we will go on multiplying and adding. So that gives the mass curve. Whereas here the load duration curve is integration of load duration curve. The mass curve is the integration of the load curve. That is the difference between these two. So I hope different types of curves that are used for economics of power generation are clear to you. So if you still have any queries, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. I will answer to your queries from there. Thank you. Thank you very much.